So if you find yourself where you're constantly having to apologize, having to walk on like thin ice around your clients, is because they can sense your weakness. They can sense your doubt. Welcome to another episode of Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, AZ Araujo. And today's subject is, when doubt sets in, your results will suffer. So this weekend was actually pretty nice. We were out in New York and we were there for the UFC 244. And it was awesome. I mean, this venue was great. The energy was unbelievable. The fights were just on point. Probably the best UFC fight I've ever been to. And Carla and I have been to many over the years. And, for some reason, we just didn't put as much focus on it over the last couple of years as we used to. That used to be our way to get away and something to do, right? Go to a different city and just check out the fights. And we got away from that. And this was just, it was one of those things where now we're like thinking, okay, when's the next one? Because we just enjoyed our time together. We enjoyed the venue. We enjoyed the experience. And it reminded us that we need to be able to create that space for ourselves, for our marriage as well, right? Because we're so sometimes focused on the business aspect of it that we forget, hey, listen, like we need to be able to disconnect and do the things that we're passionate about or the things that we love, that we enjoy. And it was one of those weekends where I was just absolutely just all in, present the entire time with what we were doing and still handling the business, but it just really reminded me how important it is to also reinvest in the things you love to do. But I wanted to kind of take this conversation into the topic of doubt. And there was many stories of like who's going to win this fight. There was a main event there. It was Nate Diaz and George Masvidal. And these guys have been in the game a very, very long time. And, when the fight was announced, I had to do a little bit more research to really get to know both fighters, right? And although I was leaning towards Nate Diaz as a fighter, I grew a lot of appreciation for George Masvidal. Like, this guy is just highly intelligent. He speaks very fluently, very well, very just very interesting dude, just a very interesting guy. Like, if you do some research on this guy, he's very entertaining. He is an entertainer for sure. And very witty, just on his feet, and can really, kind of like a Conor McGregor-like. I mean, if they were able to fight each other, I would love to see, the interviews leading up to this, because I think it would be toe-to-toe type of thing, When Conor McGregor fought Nate Diaz, it was just so overwhelmingly, Conor owned him when it came to like the media aspect of it, right? When it came on the mat, not so much. But in this case, I think it would go back and forth pretty well. So I grew a lot of appreciation for this dude. And, we got some seats that were really, really good. Like, as a matter of fact, we got to rub elbows with, like, very famous athletes. Bruce Buffer, I even took a selfie with Bruce Buffer. And there was, the President Trump was even in the venue. And here's the amazing thing. I had a lot of appreciation of just being in the venue, but seeing President Trump and also being in the same, general vicinity of the most powerful man in the world, not just the United States, in the world, was awesome. And of course, there's this comparison game. I would say my tickets were better than his. But it was just awesome to see how, here I am in this venue, and this is the type of, life we live in, that it is possible for us to be in certain venues with the most powerful people, the most famous people, the most successful people, by doing what we love. Here I am, just this broker, right, out of Phoenix in this area, rubbing elbows with the most successful people, and not only in that industry, but in President Trump's case, in the world. And it was just, it was very satisfying, right? Because I think we all work very hard to get to certain levels, but until you take a step back, you're like, wow, I've come a long way. And, one of the things that I focus on is absolutely the business, but I also focus on all aspects of what life is all about, living a healthy lifestyle. At the same time, being focused on my marriage, being focused as a father, being focused on my business. So it's a all in type of situation. And, we were sitting around people and they were asking, hey, how do you guys stay so fit? And, and they were surprised that we were married for 16 years, because, there's this misconception that when you get married, you settle, right? They even call it, you settle down. You stop doing the things that used to drive you, including taking care of yourself. So a lot of people thought we were just dating, right? Because we're both healthy, we're both fit, we're both happy. And it's like, no, it's like it doesn't stop there. It's not about settling. It's about continuing to grow and expand. And so there was just a lot of moments in that whole experience this weekend that just made me really appreciate how far we've come. But I want to talk a little bit about, doubt. So back to the story, I was rooting more for Nate Diaz. But there was something interesting he said a couple days ago that almost made me question it if he even had a chance. They asked him, what were you looking forward to? And he says, I wish, I didn't think it was going to happen this fast. Meaning, to me, the way I interpret it is like, I don't have enough time to prepare. He just came off of a fight about a month and a half ago, or maybe 2 months ago. And here he is on one of the biggest fights of the year again. And he said that, he said, I don't know. I think it happened too fast. So, those words does something to your subconscious. It creates that doubt, right? It creates that doubt. Anytime we question ourselves, it creates that doubt. And for me, when I saw that interview, I was like, oh man, I don't know. Because when I saw George Masvidal, he's like, I'm ready. This is the biggest fight I've ever been on. And I'm super focused. I know exactly what I want to do. I know it's gonna be a dogfight, and I'm looking forward to this dogfight. He knows he's gonna get beat up by Nate and vice versa, right? Like he's really looking forward. So the words he was using versus the words Nate was using, it just showed the paradigm of what was gonna happen on the mat and in the ring. And man, after the first round, as a matter of fact, let me back up here. So where we were sitting at, we got a 3-foot view, like he was literally within an arm's distance away from me, as I saw the challenger Masvidal coming down out of the tunnel. And I even said it on my Instagram. I said, "Oh damn, focused." Like I literally felt his energy. I felt his energy as he walked through. His eyes were gazing at the ring. It was just so intense and so focused. I was like, oh, damn. Like, this is about to go down. Like, I literally felt him walking by me, and I was like, dude, this dude is intense. And it gets me thinking about just human senses. We're able to feel this kind of thing. So whenever you go in front of a listing appointment or in front of a new buyer, they can feel your certainty. They can feel your intention. And I don't think we pay enough focus about or awareness about how we respond to others or how we show up to others. We need to be very clear about how it is that we're showing up to these individuals. And when you focus on certain things, they're going to get that automatically. But if you're wanting to somehow like pull a fast one on them, if you're feeling that uncertainty and you're trying to like make sure that they don't get that same from you, it's not going to work. It's got to be something where you focus on your strengths. Going into the listing appointment, maybe it's honesty. Maybe it's you speaking, openly and just reassuring them that you're going to do whatever it takes to get them what they hired you for. But if you focus on, wow, I need to know the technicalities of the listing agreement and then the technicalities of this, that, or the other, the doubt's going to set in. So they're going to get that energy from you. And when I saw Masvidal coming down, I was like, holy shit, this dude is like focused. He's in for the dogfight. He's been training his entire career for this, his entire life for this. And I'm going to tell you what, from the moment the bell rang, this dude dominated. He absolutely dominated the entire 3 rounds that they were allowed to fight. Completely domination. And there's this saying that, Nate Diaz gets stronger as time progresses. I'm going to tell you something right now. He may get stronger, but Masvidal was not getting any weaker. And that's the difference, right? He wasn't getting any weaker. That energy that I felt was the same energy I saw in the ring for 3 solid rounds. This dude was a beast. They ended up stopping the fight. Diaz had a couple cuts on his eye, but you could tell it was almost like it was needed from him. His body language, like he didn't like react like no, don't stop this fight. It was more like all right, they're stopping this fight. When you're intentional and focused about what you want, because when it comes to like skill set wise, I think they're both the best in their fields. So it has to go with what's going on up here. Nate Diaz already came in with a crutch, with something that was impeding his confidence. I didn't have enough time. He said it publicly. My question is like, what's going on in his mind? If he said it, because we always show a fraction to the public what really goes down, right? If you think about this, and this is scary too. Have you ever seen those couples like arguing in public? That's like the really watered down version of what really goes down. Behind closed doors, I bet it is like World War III. I bet it's just bad. Because if they're willing to do that in front of others publicly, just imagine what goes behind closed doors. And that's the thing, whenever we say these words that your clients can latch onto, it's like the iceberg theory, right? There's so much more substance below it, the surface. And that's exactly what I saw from Diaz. He said it out loud to the public, to the media. I could only imagine what's going on in his mind. Then after the fight, he says, I hurt my foot and I couldn't run. And part of his training regimen is if I run and I train, I will outlast anyone. Well, he injured his foot or his knee or something like that. So he even said after the post interview, he's like, I couldn't run. So now I didn't have enough time, which he exposed to everyone. And now you have this other thing that comes up. Those 2 things about not running, those 2 things now become the main focus. It's no longer about going in there and dominating the game, dominating the sport. Now it's like hoping. Masvidal was like, I'm going to kill this dude. I'm going to dominate. I'm going to baptize him. This is his saying. This dude is like, listen to his interviews. He is legit. I'm a fan. Much respect to that dude. And as you dig deeper, he has a history of being that same person. Is he undefeated? No, not at all. He's getting better. Dude is 34 years old. He's getting better. But complete domination. Now they're talking, UFC fighter of the year. Because his last 3 fights, domination. And I can see that. I felt it. And I was like, man, I want that type of intensity. There was no doubt in my mind. I was like looking at him like, oh, damn. He's focusing on his strengths. He's also focused on the reps he's put in throughout his entire career. And I think that's where we need to get into this whole conversation about sales, about the intensity. What do your clients feel when they talk to you? Because if they feel you're uncertain or doubtful, they will walk all over you. There was no way Nate was going to walk all over George Masvidal. There was no way. There was 0 doubt in his eyes, 0 doubt in his mind. So if you find yourself where you're constantly having to apologize, having to walk on like thin ice around your clients, is because they could sense your weakness. They could sense your doubt. Because you're focused on trying to be all things, when you just need to focus on what are your strengths and bring the conversation to that on a consistent basis. It's not necessarily the experience. It's like, what are you willing to deliver for your client? That's what they want to hear. I will deliver for you. I got you. I'll take care of it. Those are the type of words that they want to hear. But if you find yourself, again, apologizing, like catering, guys, like think about it. Are you catering to your clients? Then they can sense that doubt. They can smell it. They can see it. They can hear it about what you're telling them. And they're doubting the fact that they even chose you. You got to be able to positively reinforce these thoughts. And if you don't have all this big sales experience, then focus on what you're good at. You've been conditioned your entire life to be here right now. Focus on those things. I'll tell you what, top producers go in there and clients are like, damn, I want to work with this dude or this gal. My focus is here to train. My focus is here to empower, but I'll take listings every great while from past clients, people that know me or have heard of me, and certain price points. And I'll tell you what, when it comes to sales, like some of you this year have sold way more than what we have, right? But I tell you what, that doesn't distinguish my confidence because that's not what I do anymore. I've been top of my game when it comes to sales in real estate. Been there because I was intentional. I was focused. So that game never appears in my mind about how somebody else is selling greater. When I went on this listing appointment, it was my confidence. It was my intention. It was my intensity that said, AZ, and I can read it to you. I appreciate you so much for taking on this listing. They're thanking me. They're going to pay me big money. And they're thanking me because my intensity that I will deliver exactly what they're looking for. If they're not thanking you, you're focused on the wrong things. Let's see if I can find that text. And that's what the game is about. Because I focused on my strengths and I know the reps. Like I show up powerfully every day. Every day for everything that I do. And I convey that. And they're like, holy shit, if he does that for himself and his family and his business, I wonder what he's going to do for me. AZ, thank you. I didn't talk about, some algorithm and some website and some thing that's going to happen in order to sell their home. I assured them through the words, through my energy, through my mannerisms, my behaviors. And they look in my eyes and they knew I was in full integrity because of the reps. So when we talk about taking care of all aspects of your life, it builds you. There is no competition at that point. So yes, taking care of yourself is important because it's going to build your confidence. Yes, being connected with your family is important because it's going to build your confidence. Killing it in business is important because it's going to make your confidence and build your confidence. To a point where you feel like, dude, I'm your only choice. Like Masvidal. Yeah, I'm going to win. No question. No faltering. No easing. All in. So this is what I want you to think about today. Your business will make or break itself based on certainty. Top producers have more confidence, have more certainty. Right? Producing makes you more confident because it pushes you to become bigger and better than those that maybe not be doing it at that same level. So here's the thing. Here are 3 things I want you to think about. That everyone has self-doubt. I want you to understand that. Everyone has self-doubt. Sometimes when we're in a situation, maybe it's your biggest listing you've ever received, or your biggest buyer, or your first buyer, or your millionth buyer, whatever. There's this certain sense of doubt. You want to make sure you deliver at a high level. But it's also good to know that everyone feels those same feelings. I was talking to Jesse last week after we did our run, or maybe a week and a half ago. And one of the things he mentioned was about our running, Like, we were pretty fast. We did like a 7:40 average mile for 5 miles. And, every time I wanted to quit, he's built more to run. Like, I don't know if that's an excuse or not. Maybe it is. But I'm 200 plus pounds, 6'2". I'm a heavy dude. And to keep up with like Jesse, he's built for like endurance. And I can't tell you how many times like I doubted myself to keeping up with him during this time frame. I'm older. I'm bigger. And it was tough. But every time I wanted to quit, I also reminded myself, Jesse's also hurting. And at that time, Isaac was with us. And I'm thinking, Isaac's also hurting. So I took the focus away from me and thinking about, oh, poor me, I'm hurting. I can't keep up. I can't breathe. My legs hurt. I still have 3 miles left. Holy shit. How am I going to do this? To like, oh, these guys are also feeling the pains. So understanding that it's not just you that's feeling this. It's everyone. I think it's important to reinforce you to keep going. That's what I love about cycling as well. It's very much, you get strength from those around you, but at the same time, it's all about you. And if I'm hurting, I know the person next to me is hurting. But we got to show that poker face, right? We got to keep going. And the game now becomes, can I outlast them? Can I outlast them? And that keeps you in the game. So if you're feeling that doubt, just know that everyone feels it. So that way it doesn't become such a big disadvantage. When you think someone's free from all that, they have all the advantage. But when you know they're going through the same thing, there is no advantage. Number 2, understand that you've done the reps. You've done them. My daughter always gets into this thing like, Dad, I haven't, I hope I do good today. The only advice I give her is like, for volleyball, like, you've put in thousands of reps, babe. Just do what you've been doing. It doesn't have to be something above and beyond. Just do what you've been doing. You've put in the reps. And maybe it might not be industry specific, but you've built relationships in the past. You've delivered for people in the past. You've sold to people in the past. Whatever job you've been in, you've had to sell yourself. Well, guess what? You have to sell yourself in this industry. So don't act like, oh, I'm new to this industry, or I don't have enough sales and I've been in the game 5, 10 years. You've done the reps. You've invested in others. Ask for the business. So never put yourself in a situation where you think you're new. In one format or another, in one way or another, you've done it all before. So you've done the reps. And number 3, like we talked about earlier, is focus on your strengths. Someone's always going to be more elite at other things. Maybe it's their website. Maybe it's their, large database. Maybe it's the way they market. Maybe it's like, it could be 1,000 different things that others have an advantage over you. But you have to focus on your strengths, regardless of what they sold and regardless of what you sold. What are your strengths? I know what my strengths are. I can deliver. I can deliver. Can you say that? I will not stop until I deliver. But I'm also very honest. I don't stop. I'm loyal. I'm dedicated to completing tasks. I'm tenacious. I have a conviction that's fired up to the core because of the things I do every single day, because I live in full integrity. That is the biggest advantage you can have, is to live in integrity, is by doing what you say you're going to do, day in and day out. People will feel you. People will see it. They will hear it. All their senses will be in tune to your integrity. And that is the most powerful tool you can have. Not the numbers. But that and that alone. Your integrity. So again, everyone has self-doubt. 2, understand that you've done the reps. And 3, focus on your strengths. You're an honest person. Focus on that. Speak in truths. You will win every time. And here's the beautiful thing about it. You will win every time, even if you didn't get the transaction. Now, I want to read something that I read in an article here as we start to wrap up. According to the Harvard Business Review, a salesperson who is timid, uncertain, and full of doubt is unlikely to be able to complete a successful sale, especially in today's competitive market. At the same time, sales reps who have a high level of conscientiousness. I got to use that in a sentence today. Sales reps who have high level of conscientiousness are likely to succeed. And here's another thing here I want you to think about. There are 2 types of salespeople out there. Okay, 2 types of salespeople of when a deal doesn't close. 2 types of salespeople emerge. One, what I think a lot of top producers reinforce within their mind is that if it does fail, they know that they put their best. They delivered. They did everything in their control. But factors beyond their control is what caused the deal to fall through. So they have this reinforcement like, hey, I delivered. I put it all on the table. I did exactly what I said I was going to do because that's what I do in life. The other type of salesperson takes it personally. They'll go through experience low self-esteem and self-doubt to only sabotage themselves for the next deal. Because now they are like catering. Now they are working from a place of scarcity. Because they're not living in integrity. They didn't deliver what they said they would. They stumbled through the process. And then they take it personally. When all they really had to do was go to number 3, focus on your strengths. And know that you put it all on the table. Guys, I want to hear your feedback on today's conversation. What are you hearing? How does it apply to you? And let's go through here. Let's see here. We got Isabel, Claudia, Michelle, Marissa, good morning. Carla, good morning. Adrian, Teresa, Gabe. Michelle, I was hoping you would talk about the fight. I watched and I also had to. What a great fight, right, Michelle? It got stopped, I think, prematurely, but it wasn't. It was domination. what I was disappointed at was the booze that Masvidal got after he's the one who stopped. Yeah, he did stop it actually. If we start looking at the details of this, through his sheer dominance, that's how he stopped the fight. But it was good. I think it wasn't getting any stronger for Nate, and it was just a strong fight. And all the fight cards on this, man, I had such a great time being in that place, feeling that energy, and it just reminded me I got to do this more and more often, and take that time, to ourselves to do and enjoy things that we really love experiencing. Patrick, good morning. David, good morning. Adrian, yeah, he was in control the whole time. It was an absolute domination. Nate mentally lost the fight before he walked in the ring. He looked relieved when he stopped. He really did. And Carl even mentioned that. He's like, the dude looked like it was okay for him to stop. And if you know Nate, he's a dog as well. Like, this dude is like relentless. And he gets bloodied every fight. He has a couple cuts that just get reopened every fight. So he's always just bloody on the Conor McGregor fight. On any other fight prior to that, he's always just bloody. But this was like just how Masvidal, his whole execution of his fight game, to the head, to the body, like he was wearing him down, just wearing him down. So it was almost a good thing that they did stop it. And like I said, I didn't like the fact that the arena booed Masvidal. That dude is just so gracious, and just an elite athlete. And funny as hell. Dude is eating pizza at his post-fight interview. He was just hilarious. A big fan now. Adrian, he was doubting himself from the beginning based on the statement. Yeah, that's it. All we need is a little bit of a doubt to sink in, and we make like a mountain out of a molehill. And then when I saw Masvidal, it was just intense. I was like, holy cow. I have it on my Instagram stories. I said, oh, damn, focused. Like, this was intense. It fired me up just being around him, which showcases the importance of being around the right people, right? Good morning, Nisela. Nick, good morning. You used to fight in those Kimbo Slice backyard fights. Crazy where he started and where he's at now. Yeah, this guy was a backyard. Like, if you read into his history, he was a backyard. Like, he would fight like these, probably illegal fights where they would fight in the backyard, like bare-knuckle fights. And I saw one recently where he just dominated. This dude was probably 75 pounds heavier than him, and just completely dominated. He said, I would hit this guy, and like 3 or 4 good shots with everything that I got, and he would look at me like it didn't even hurt me. So I had to put on that poker face that, hey, that wasn't my best shot when it really was. And that other guy was showing his poker face that, hey, you gave me your best and it didn't hurt. And that's the game of competition, right? Who's going to break first? And in this particular backyard fight, he said that I just kept at him, and that guy finally conceded, and he was much bigger than Masvidal, but he's like, I wasn't going to quit. I wasn't going to show him that I was hurting. Like he said, every time he hit me, it rocked me. So imagine being in this place where you have to overcome the fact that your best is not hurting that other guy. And then also understanding that when he gets hit by this other guy, it's like rocking him to the core. That is like a mental, like, God, he like mentally he is there. Like, to be able to overcome those factors, it's insane. Adrian, let's see, AZ, the hottest name in real estate. What's going on, Jesse? I don't know if you guys saw me on TV. I was pretty close. Sitting right next to President Trump. Patrick, no matter how much pain, never let them see you sweat. And that's exactly what happened, and that analogy that I just spoke about, Patrick, right in line with that. Yesenia, good morning. I'm so happy I joined in. Yesenia, I'm always happy that you're joining in and you continue to lean in. And that is a sheer conviction, right? And that's what I love about this game of real estate. Those that continue to show up. And one thing is about showing success for 1 year. I think a lot of people can do that. And I think a lot of newer agents are showing success for the last 2-3 years. But it's those that can remain in the game regardless of the economy. That's when you're successful. Because anybody can have a great successful year, maybe 2 years, but can you dominate it over and over and over again? That's what truly success is. Can you sustain that for 5-10 years? Yesenia is one of those individuals. I'm happy you're in here today. Adrian, Nate is a dog. He was talking about beating up The Rock after the fight. So Nate Diaz was pissed off that The Rock was actually on Masvidal's corner. He's like, yeah, I don't like that dude. F that dude. Talking shit to The Rock. The Rock walked right by me, like within 10 feet. Dude is a monster. Beast. Jeez. Looks bigger than on TV. Let's see here. Good morning, Cindy. Guys, like, I want to thank you for joining me. And just think about that. Just focus on your strengths. And know that you will deliver and you will get your clients to do as you ask for as a professional. They will take your guidance. They will see you as their leader when you see yourself in that place first and foremost. So thank you again for joining me for another episode of Mindset Mastery, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye now.